This is for the undisputed title. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
In the heat of battle, these two guys, if you smell blood, you smell blood. When you go in for the kill, there is a moment where you inevitably become vulnerable. Are you willing to change your strategy to make your final close prematurely? I don't know. And that's why it's going to be a great fight.
We're getting there. We can fight tomorrow, but we still got a little more sharpening to do. Then we're going to be ready. So we taking it how it come, one day at a time. Can't rush greatness.
He's a really good fighter, and this is a challenge for me. Like they say, I have everything to lose here because he's coming to weight classes.
If you win this fight, does it push your... I'm gonna win. When you win this fight, does it push your legacy up even further?
Of course, but I'm not thinking about lose. I'm ready. I can feel it. I'm ready right now. If the fight is right now, I'm ready.
Canelo Alvarez has built himself into a global superstar, but a lot of his legacy is going to be tied to what happens on September 13th.
They have enough money. They have enough accolades to fight for legacy.
It is such a boon to boxing when the money guy seeks out the biggest events and the best fighters. And Canelo, that dude ain't scared. He's not scared.
Finally, we're going to see the two best of this era fight each other. This is absolutely the fight of the decade.
The most important part of the fight for Crawford is his camp. He's got to put on 21 pounds, but remain Terence Crawford.
He's actually going to risk everything and move up in weight and fight the bigger, stronger guy. How can you not respect that?
He is willing to take a risk. This is literally uncharted territories for Terence Crawford.
Everything happened for a reason. And I truly or firmly believe the reason for me to be in this situation right now is to become 3-time undisputed champion of the world.
I don't think Canelo's gonna be bigger than he. You'll see, he gonna start pushing his ass around. Watch.
How does Crawford stop? Hard to stop Canelo. And if you can't stop Canelo, how do you get the decision?
He has a toolbox full of tools. And it's just about using the right tool at the right time.
People talk about Terence Crawford, they're going to talk about how I overcame all the odds. I had to go through so much to get to where I am now, and I wasn't wanting any other way. They doubted me. They didn't give me a chance. Thought I was going to be a statistic. I overcame so many obstacles and so many life lessons that they can't do nothing but respect it.
Those things conspire to make his resume thin compared to other fighters who've attained his kind of lofty status.
You know, and if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter.
Oh, you haven't fought anybody and nobody know who you fought. You know exactly who I fought. You a fighter, you know. So why would you go out there and try to diminish the guys that I fought because you hear the media say that? None of that matters because I'm here now.
Stay locked in, young fella. Tunnel vision.
Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Really? Yeah?
Now, I'll tell you like this, I mean, the weight division things, you know, but I hope Crawford beats the shit. What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing in every way.
Rolly Romero recently took a shot at Canelo Alvarez, saying he's rooting for Terence Crawford to hand Canelo a brutal defeat in an upcoming showdown. On the other hand, Caleb Plant gave a different take, predicting that the fight will deliver non-stop action. According to him, fans can expect a much higher pace compared to Canelo's bout with John Ryder. Plant explained that Ryder's cautious, defensive approach led to a slower fight with fewer exchanges, something Canelo himself has admitted he doesn't enjoy facing. Since Ryder relies on a safe-to-first style, the outcome of that matchup didn't surprise him. But when it comes to Crawford, Caleb believes the dynamic will completely change. Crawford's fast hands, sharp combinations, and high punch output could make this clash far more explosive.
Be a good fight. Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think there's going to definitely be some back and forth and a lot more punches thrown than the Skull fight. I kind of honestly was expecting that with the Skull fight. Yeah. I heard Canelo say in an interview before he don't like to fight certain fighters because you heard him say that.
Yeah, he doesn't like fighting fighters like Skull because they don't throw punches. That's all they do, yeah.
And knowing how Skull fights and being a Cuban, and I felt like I had seen that coming from a mile away. I didn't really expect it to be I thought he was either going to wind up catching him and stopping him, or it was going to wind up being how it went. So, but that's a stylistic matchup, you know, and it's going to be a completely different stylistic matchup between him and Bud. And I think it's going to make for an exciting fight, a good fight.
When asked about who should be considered a favorite, Caleb Plant admitted that Canelo will likely enter the fight as a front runner, mainly because of his size advantage, with Crawford moving up in weight. He explained that many people put heavy stock in size differences, but reminded everyone that betting lines don't always tell the full story. Plant highlighted his own career, saying that he was once labeled the underdog yet still rose to become a world champion. As for giving a winner prediction, Caleb chose not to pick sides. Instead, he said he's simply excited to watch as a boxing fan and is confident the matchup will deliver a thrilling spectacle.
I think Canelo should be the favorite in the fight because he's bigger, or do you see he had trouble with Skull? His speed, Terence is going to throw a lot more, and he has that speed also.
Regardless of however the fight itself plays out, I feel like the betting, you know, the betting people will probably have Canelo as a favorite simply because, you know, Terence is moving up a couple weight classes, and people will say, oh, there's weight classes for a reason, and this and that. So it doesn't matter what the betting odds say, though. You know what I'm saying? I've been the underdog a couple times. Jose Uzcategui, I was the underdog. That's how I became world champion. So odds only mean so much. You know, once the bell rings, the fighters get to figure it out.
Do you think Canelo wins, or do you think Terence wins? This is my last one.
Can't say.
Can't say.
Don't know. I'm just, as a fan, excited to see the fight, and from the boxing knowledge that I have, which I feel like is decent, I think it's going to be a real good fight. I'm excited for it.
Chris Algieri also shared his thoughts, noting that while Canelo has proven he can withstand heavy shots from bigger opponents like Sergey Kovalev, speed presents a whole different problem. According to Algieri, fast and unpredictable punches often cause more damage because they land before a fighter can react. Even a smaller opponent with sharp timing can trouble a much larger fighter, that he went on to praise Canelo's durability, calling his chin possibly the strongest in the sport today. That's why, if Crawford is able to break through it, Algieri believes it would be a defining moment. He described the matchup as both historic and unusual, pointing to the size gap, but emphasized that fans will be glued to it because of the elite talent on display.
Dude, speed's different. You know, power's power. You know, like he fought a guy like Kovalev. He took Kovalev's best punches, you know, big guy. But speed is different, man. And punching power is a weird thing. You can spar with 126 pounders that can knock out a middleweight. And it's not so much that, you know, they have power, sure, and they have power in their weight class, but then you put the speed behind it and you hit you with shots you don't see and you get stunned. The problem is that Canelo's got the best chin I think we have in boxing today. So if he can crack that chin, then whoo boy. But I think either way, it's an historic event, but mostly because it's kind of odd. But listen, we're going to be tuned in. We're going to be on the edge of our seat because it's that kind of matchup. Nothing you can say about it.
Carmel Martin also weighed in, admitting that while he hasn't made an official prediction, his support leans toward Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford's versatility sets him apart, being able to stay light on his feet, control distance, and also fight effectively on the inside when necessary. Martin acknowledged Canelo's greatness, but described his style as more straightforward, built around applying pressure, using sharp head movement, and countering. In his view, Crawford's speed and adaptability could be the deciding factors, giving him the edge to potentially outbox Canelo, even if the final outcome is still uncertain.
I don't have a pick. I feel like I'm a root for Crawford, and so I just feel like Crawford is more multi-dimensional. He can do more things in the ring. You know, he could get on his toes if he really needs to, and then he can also bang in the pocket, obviously. And I feel like Canelo's a great, but I feel like he's more one-dimensional. He's just gonna put that pressure, you know, slick head movement, try to come with them counters. But I just feel like Crawford gonna have a speed advantage, and he gonna probably just outbox Canelo. But I don't have no pick right now, but I'm rooting for Crawford.
Rolly Romero didn't hold back when giving his thoughts, making it clear that he wants Terence Crawford to dominate Canelo. He emphasized this point several times, showing just how strongly he feels about it. When asked why, Romero pointed to something Canelo did in a recent fight that he considered highly disrespectful to the sport. Although he admitted that weight classes play a role in the matchup, Romero stressed that his support for Crawford isn't just about size, it's also about principle. In his view, Canelo's actions cross a line, and that's why he's rooting so strongly for Crawford to come out on top.
Canelo. I hope Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Really? Yeah?
Now, I'll tell you like this, I mean, the weight division things, but I hope Crawford beats this shit.
Why do you want to see Crawford beat the ish out of Canelo?
I just hope Crawford beats this shit.
Why? Like Canelo, is it because of the last fight? Like you haven't been a fan of Canelo, or like why? Like you like Crawford that much? Took your cut.
What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing in every...
In another conversation, Rolly Romero went even further, saying he doesn't view Canelo versus Crawford as a truly big fight. While he acknowledged Canelo's accomplishments and gave him credit as a top-tier fighter, Romero argued that a clash like Canelo against David Benavidez would carry much more weight and significance, that he questioned the logic of a much smaller fighter like Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes just to face someone of Canelo's size, emphasizing that size differences alone don't automatically make a fight special. According to Romero, what defines a real blockbuster is either seeing the very best in the same division go head-to-head, or watching 2 dynamic stars create the kind of action that fans can't turn away from.
I don't think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia 2 is a big fight.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you.
I don't think that's a big fight. I don't think Canelo Crawford is a big fight.
No?
I think Canelo Benavidez is a big fight.
I think that's huge.
I don't think a dude moving up 3 weight divisions to go fight a dude that's twice his size, I know he looked bigger than him the other day, but I mean, obviously, regardless, I don't think that's how
Shakur Stevenson also gave his take, expressing confidence that Terence Bud Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo Alvarez. While giving Canelo full credit for his accomplishments, Shakur believes Crawford's all-around skill set could be the difference in the fight. When asked about the size factor, Stevenson dismissed it as overhyped. He explained that while someone like David Benavidez is a genuinely big fighter, Canelo himself isn't dramatically taller or much larger than Crawford. Shakur even recalled a conversation with Jaron Boots Ennis, where they both agreed that if Canelo underestimates Crawford or makes a mistake, there's a real chance Crawford could stop him inside the ring.
I'm gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is going to be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's physically kind of big, but height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so now.
Corey, how you got a decision to stop it? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop him.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone, talked about it, but I think that's possible. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud could crack too. So.
Rolly Romero has also been very outspoken about the size difference in potential Crawford versus Canelo showdown. He didn't mince words, saying that anyone who truly believes Crawford can win isn't being realistic. Romero stressed that weight divisions exist for a reason, and in this matchup, size would overshadow everything else, though he pointed out that not only is Canelo the naturally bigger man, but is also extremely skilled. For Romero, this fight isn't about comparing boxing ability. It comes down to pure physicality. And because of that, he doesn't see Crawford having any chance to win.
Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And it's not, this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with...
Showbiz the adult recently shared his updated perspective on the potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford matchup, saying the fight now looks more competitive to him. He explained that after seeing how easily William Skull was able to move and avoid Canelo's offense, his confidence in Canelo has dipped slightly, though he also brought up how Israel Madrimov gave Crawford trouble at 154 pounds, and then how Virgil Ortiz handled Madrimov with dominance, suggesting that both Canelo and Crawford may be showing subtle signs of decline. According to Showbiz, Crawford isn't the type of fighter who runs around the ring, and while he does stand a bit taller than Canelo, the size difference isn't dramatic. He added that fighters in Canelo's weight range usually end up getting stopped unless they're elite defensive specialists like Floyd Mayweather. Although he still favors Canelo to score a knockout, Showbiz admitted is not as certain about that outcome as he once was.
Fight has gotten a little closer because of William Skull, how he moved around and how easy it seemed to get away from Canelo if you wanted to move around. But at the same time, I haven't forgotten how good Madrimov looked against Crawford at 154 and what Ortiz did to Madrimov. I do think Canelo has slipped, but it seems to be obvious to me also that Crawford has slipped. Another thing, Crawford is not going to run. Now, Crawford is a little bit taller than Canelo, but that's not tall enough.
Joe Diaz gave a strong opinion on the potential matchup, saying he doesn't believe Terence Crawford has a realistic chance to beat Canelo Alvarez. Even though Diaz considers Crawford his personal favorite and the best pound-for-pound boxer today, he explained that jumping from 147 to 168 pounds is simply too big of a leap. Diaz acknowledged that Crawford might have some early success with his sharpness and speed, but he feels that over time, the size and power difference would take control. He pointed out that Canelo has absorbed clean shot from heavy hitters like Gennady Golovkin without being seriously shaken. In Diaz's view, if Canelo connects cleanly on Crawford, the impact could be devastating.
I mean, there is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, I mean, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. I mean, a 147-pounder moving up to 68, I mean, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him.
Joe Diaz drew a comparison to Demetrius Andrade's fight with David Benavidez, where Andrade looked sharp in the opening rounds, but quickly faded once the physical disadvantage became clear. Diaz suggested that Crawford could run into the same problem. Despite his incredible skills, the size difference would eventually take over. In his view, the matchup feels less like a fair sporting challenge and more like a business decision. He believes the primary motivation is a huge payday for Crawford, rather than creating a truly competitive fight.
Remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade? Yes. Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60, fight 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. I mean, look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. I mean, Turkey on the sheet. It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. Wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
Teddy Atlas spoke with high praise for Terence Crawford, describing him as a truly special fighter. While he made sure to acknowledge Canelo Alvarez as a great champion, Atlas emphasized that Crawford possesses rare qualities that set him apart from most boxers. That he pointed to Crawford's natural gifts, his timing, instincts, sharp concentration, and especially his ability to stay composed in high-pressure moments. Atlas explained that Crawford's calmness isn't just about appearing relaxed, it's about being able to see openings and react to situations that other fighters often miss.
I just think Crawford's real special. I think Canelo's really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. I see it. The timing, the instinct, the eyes, the ability to be chilly cold, not just cold and calm, but chilly cold, where you can see things other people don't see and react to it.
Teddy Atlas also spoke about Crawford's move up to 154 pounds, admitting that the performance wasn't flawless, but reminding fans that it came against a skilled opponent with a difficult style. He explained that adjusting to a new weight division can naturally bring challenges, and that sometimes people expect perfection from fighters when patience is more realistic. Atlas pointed out that even in less than ideal circumstances, Crawford showed the ability to adapt and do what was needed to get the victory. For Teddy, what makes Crawford truly great isn't just his skills in the ring, but his mindset, determination, and the toughness built from his background.
I know he didn't have a great performance when he moved up to 154, but he was fighting a good fighter. He was fighting a guy that fought a very difficult style at that moment, and he was fighting at a weight class that was foreign to him, and we had to give him a minute. Nobody wants to give anyone a minute in this business. You're supposed to be great, you got to be great every minute. But I gave him a minute to kind of get his feet settled at a new weight class. And he still did what he had to do to win. But I still see the greatness. The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, it's in his background, where he came.
Teofimo Lopez shared his thoughts by pointing out that Canelo Alvarez grew tremendously as a fighter after his loss to Floyd Mayweather. While Lopez admitted that Canelo has shown some signs of slowing down in recent years, he still feels Canelo holds the upper hand in a potential matchup with Terence Crawford. According to Lopez, Crawford's style and skill set could allow him to stay competitive for stretches of the fight, but the weight gap would ultimately be too much to overcome. In the end, Lopez sees Canelo as the one who would walk away with the victory.
I mean, listen, I think stylistically, Crawford could stay in there long enough. However, it's just with the weight, and I mean, Canelo, he's gotten better ever since Mayweather, but now he's decreased a little bit. Nevertheless, though, I think that I think Canelo will get him.
Tim Tszyu gave his perspective, saying he believes Terence Crawford has the tools to outbox Canelo Alvarez, but much of it depends on which version of Canelo enters the ring. He acknowledged Canelo's tremendous experience and accomplishments, but also pointed out that after such a long career, it's natural for a fighter to eventually show signs of decline. For Tszyu, that uncertainty makes the matchup both intriguing and exciting, as fans don't fully know what to expect when the two step into the ring.
He can outbox Canelo. It depends on what kind of Canelo rocks up, and Canelo is very, very experienced. But at the same time, he's had a lot of fights, which means that, you know, there is a time that you do go downhill as well. So I don't know. It's an interesting fight.
Chu pointed out that although Canelo once fought at 154 pounds, the current weight gap between him and Terence Crawford isn't massive. Still, he stressed that Crawford originally began his career all the way down at 130 pounds, which makes him naturally the smaller man. Jude added that Canelo's frame makes him especially difficult to face, describing him as a mini tank with thick, stocky bones that give him incredible durability inside the ring.
But the thing is, Canelo used to be at 154 as well, you know? So there is a slight weight division difference, but then Terence is coming up from, 130? So,
yeah, it's a lot smaller. Yeah, Canelo's like a little mini tank, man. He's like, his bones are he's just like a stocky dude.
Thick.
Greg Hackett shared his thoughts by saying that while it's difficult to ever count out Terence Bud Crawford, he doesn't see Crawford knocking out Canelo Alvarez. Hackett explained that if Crawford truly believes he can do it, that's his decision. But from his perspective, the challenge looks steep that he leans slightly in Canelo's favor, noting that Crawford moving up to 168 pounds could make him fight with more caution. Even with Crawford's speed and punching ability, Hackett suggested that Canelo's natural power at that weight might cause Crawford to hesitate and pick his shots more carefully.
Again, I can't say what a man can't do, you know what I mean? But do I see that happening? Yeah. No, I don't see it happening, but if he believe it, hey, I want to see.
Who would you favor in that fight? You like Bud by decision?
Slight edge to Canelo.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like Bud. I'm a fan of Bud. I think Bud is a great fighter, but I just think 68 is gonna make him a little bit hesitant. He gonna feel good. He gonna be strong. He gonna have some good speed, but I think he's just gonna be a little bit hesitant. He won't pull the trigger right away.
Lonnie B shared his doubts about whether a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight will actually materialize, suggesting it might just be talk to measure fan interest. Still, he admitted that if the matchup does get made, it would draw massive attention and be a major success. Lonnie B acknowledged Crawford's incredible skills, but reminded fans of an old saying in boxing: a great big man usually beats a great small man. He clarified that while a smaller great fighter can sometimes overcome a good bigger opponent, in this case, he views Canelo as a great big man, and that makes a difference.
I don't believe that's gonna happen, but if they say it's gonna happen, I guess so. But
why you don't think it's gonna happen?
I just think it's all bluff. I think they're just putting the string out there to see if it'll do well, which I think the fight will do extremely well. But I think like Crawford got skills, but I think size matter in boxing. I think a great big man always beats a great small man. You know, but I think a great small man beats a good big man. I think Canelo's a great big man.
So what do you think about a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford? Do you believe Crawford's skills can overcome the size difference, or will Canelo's power prove too much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more boxing content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.